Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Steeply, the show on the internet where I drink a bunch of tea and tell you if it's good or not. This week I have a white tea for you from My Cup of Tea. It's their Silver Needles, which is actually one of their best sellers, and I think I figured out why, so definitely keep watching to hear the reasoning behind that. And a fun little tidbit for you about white tea, it's actually the highest on the antioxidant scale, and also on the lower end of the caffeine scale. Not only do you get great health benefits from the tea, but you also don't get that crazy spike of caffeine, so this would be good maybe as an evening tea before going to bed, something along those lines. White tea also tends to be very relaxing. It's something that won't hype you up, not only because of the caffeine levels, but just because of the aroma and the taste that it generally gives off. It's a good digestive after-meal drink. It'll help you sort of take in what you've eaten and sit back and calm down and relax. It's really, really great for that. If ever you've been to certain sushi restaurants or things like that, sometimes they'll bring you a little cup of tea at the end. Generally, a lot of the times, it's white tea. The taste will be very familiar to you. I do also absolutely love the look of this tea. The B-roll will be thrown up right now, but I love the style of it. The white little hairs, the long look of the leaves and the buds, and everything that goes into this tea, it just looks very inviting, which I know sounds ridiculous because it looks like a bunch of tiny needles, but for some reason, it just makes me want to drink it. Especially when you steep it, if you look at the leaves after the fact, the color has mutated, they're a lot more green, they've opened up just a tiny little bit. It's really, really nice to look at as well. And not to mention the smell. The smell of the leaves, both pre and post brew, are awesome. I'm a huge, huge fan of it. It's not strong in any sense, it's very subtle, but very, very, again, inviting. Other than that, I also absolutely love the color of white tea. It has that yellowish pale sort of look to it. It's just an inviting color. There's something about it that makes you feel warm. The smell makes you feel warm and happy and cheerful. It's great. So I guess let's get to the smelling and the tasting then. Smell-wise, honestly, after it's been brewed, it's very subtle. It's a clean sort of on-the-nose feel. It's not gonna bite you, it's not gonna attack you, you won't be thrown out of your chair with this very eccentric sort of smell. Again, it's subtle and I hate using this word repeatedly, but inviting. It's kind of floral in a way, but it's more grassy and more grain-like. It's not like a bed of roses or tulips or anything along those lines. It's more as though you're walking through a forest and you're smelling maybe a little bit of pine mixed in with a little bit of the bark that's, sort of rotting off of the trees. It's a very natural scent. It's not heavily processed. There's nothing that'll throw you off. It's subtle, it's clean, it's calm, it's really, really nice. Taste-wise, let's find out. Taste-wise, it coats your mouth in sort of the same aroma. And I find that very rare with drinks or even certain foods in general, that the aroma is incredibly close to the taste. It's not often that you smell something and then immediately go, hey, that smells like it tasted. In this case, I find that it's true. You feel as though you've somehow eaten the air that's encompassed the forest with that wooden sort of grassy, almost fresh-cut grass-like smell and taste. It's also surprisingly dry. If you've ever had a certain wine and you drink the wine and it leaves that sort of, it leaves your salivatory glands kind of working and filling you back up with saliva, just that dryness that kind of coats your tongue. It's a really unique sort of taste. It's very, very good. I actually love it. I prefer sort of drier drinks a lot of the time. So for me, it's definitely a win in that category. The flavor, again, like I said, it tastes a lot like it smells. You get that sort of wooden, natural sort of texture and flavor to it immediately and almost all the way down. In the back, it does become a little more bitter. It has undertones of bitterness. And the sad thing about white tea and a lot of lighter teas is if you oversteep it or overbrew it or have your water temperatures slightly too high, you can get a very, very bitter resonance when you're done drinking it. And I actually do feel like I should talk about the brewing for this a little bit, because it's not like a black tea where you just boil the crap out of the water and let it sit for 5 minutes and then boom, you're done. This should be kept, I would say, the water in between 70 degrees to 75 degrees Celsius and brewed anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, which is exactly the instructions that My Cup of Tea gives you as well. I would even suggest maybe bringing the water down just a tiny bit in temperature and maybe steep it around the 3.5-4 minute mark so you get some of the flavor without maybe too much bitterness or anything along those lines. Again, don't oversteep your tea. If there are instructions with the tea that you purchase, definitely follow them. That's part of the experience. Otherwise, you'll end up with something that tastes horrible and blame the manufacturer. Normally, it's not the case. People who are turned off by tea either A, start with entirely black teas and oversteep them and wonder why the hell they taste so bad, but especially with lighter teas, listen to the instructions because you'll have a much, much better experience. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. If you are interested in a white tea with an interesting texture, an interesting flavor, and you want to be introduced into a world of loose leaf that's definitely good, give this a shot. I'll leave a link in the description as always. And if there's any teas that you want me to look at, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below. You can also hit me up on Twitter, on Instagram, I'm at Alex Kaza there, or even post in RT. I recently found the subreddit thanks to one of my friends who introduced it to me, and I've been starting to browse around there, and I'll probably be posting a lot more there as well. So if you have any suggestions, anything along those lines, feel free to hit me up on social networks, things like that. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching this week's episode of Steeply. See you guys next Friday.